Hello guys and welcome back to the Traitors, but this time we're taking a look at US Season 1. Now, I haven't seen US Season 1. Up until this point, I've only seen UK 1 and 2 and Australia Season 2. So I'm now diving into the US version of the show, which appears to very closely follow the UK version. So I feel like there's gonna be bits that I might miss out when it comes to like missions and sort of like setup and things like that, just because it is very, very similar to the UK version. But I gotta say, after the first episode, I am pleasantly surprised with the differences and some of the cast members I'm liking. I do think that this is going to be a little bit more of a toxic game, because obviously we're mixing famous faces, I say famous, with normal people, so it could end up being a little bit of a clash. But on the whole, I'm excited for this brand new series. I'm planning on doing this up until Big Brother starts. Big Brother starts in, I think, 2 weeks time, or maybe 3 weeks time, I can't remember, but I'm very excited for that to start. I'm gonna try and get launch night tickets, fingers crossed, but if not, you will have the first look at the celebrities up the next day. So without much further ado, let's get into the video. Stop. Before we go any further, we're going to have to talk about how well you guys are doing at growing this channel. As of recording, we're currently at 547 subscribers, which is kind of crazy. Did I think I'd get this high this quickly? My goal for 540 was May. So the fact that we're here in Feb, crazy. So now, your next goal, 600. Fingers crossed by the end of May. No, not by the end of May, by the end of Feb. What month am I talking about? By the end of Feb. And then, 700, 800, 900. Let's keep that going. Let's keep the momentum building and building and building. You guys can do it. I believe in you. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you stick around. And now, we'll finally get into the video. Let's go. So, the introduction to the episode was a little bit weaker than the UK one. The UK one has them coming in on a train, meeting on the platform, things like that. It just feels a lot more whimsical, a lot more fantastical, and I felt this one with them just sort of arriving to the castle in cars was a little bit underwhelming, a little bit disappointing. There is a mix of famous faces and normal people, which I talked about before. When I say famous faces, for the majority of them, I mean that very, very loosely. They're mostly reality stars, which is why I don't really get upset about famous faces appearing on these kind of shows, because at one point in time, they were all normal people, and they just got famous from appearing on a reality show as a normal person. So I don't get too upset about it. Their notoriety actually could work against them, especially if they've been on shows such as Big Brother or Survivor, which is all about sort of lying and deceiving people. So you never know. But the cast looks to be quite interesting. There's a good mix of people. There's people that are lying already, and I'm kind of excited to see the dynamics and how everything works from the get-go. However, I've got to talk about Alan Cummings, because he is actually a very, very good host. He's very enigmatic. His Scottish brogue is very, very charming, whimsical, and it sort of adds a little bit of drama to the castle as well. I just think that although Claudia will always be my favourite host, I think Alan is the best is the best in a sense because he's playing a character. He's not playing himself, he's playing the owner of the castle. And so I feel like it adds sort of like just an extra edge to his hosting ability, because it just does feel so dramatic. Whereas, bless her, Claudia is just kind of playing herself. Big love to her though, she is incredible and she's still my favourite host. Seeing the Americans react to the castle was one of the funniest things ever, because like I feel like in the UK we look at that castle and we go, oh yeah, that's a British castle if ever. Well, that's a Scottish castle. Yeah, whatever. Whereas these people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Oh my god, look at this. It's so amazing. Oh my. And it was just very, very funny to watch. I didn't expect them to have such a sort of like a reaction to it. But on the whole, very, very strong, very, very cool. But yeah, it was a very interesting introduction. Just a few things before we move on. Shelby is a PR, or she works in PR, but she's lying about that background because she doesn't want people to think that she's like a professional liar or anything. So she's saying she's a kindergarten teacher. And on the flip side, we have Kate, who is famous for Below Deck. I've got it written down here because I don't know who these people are. Like I said, this is why I think it's so weird for me watching this, because I don't know who any of these people are. The only person I knew before this series was Suri, and so obviously Suri's one of my faves. So best hope she makes it to the end. But my point being is that Kate from Below Deck said that she's related to Sherlock Holmes. Now, I'm just going to close my book for a second because we're just going to break that one down. Kate from Below Deck, and by all accounts, she said this with a straight face. She is related to a fictional character. Yeah, I'm just going to let that one sink in for a second. It was time to find out who the traitors were, and I gotta say, interesting picks. 2 famous faces and 1 civilian. I don't know how I feel about that. I think there is an argument to be made that it should be 1 famous face, 2 civilians, just to give the civilians an extra chance at winning the money. But I also do think that the famous faces as traitors are going to be better because they've almost got an edge because they've played games like this before. So it's very much hit or miss. The first one was Suri, and as I just said earlier on, Suri is one of my faves, so big love to Suri. I'm very excited to see her murdering everyone and taking control of that castle. Then we had Cameron. Was it Cameron? No, Christian. I don't know where Cameron came from. Christian, he seems alright. He's a normie. I think I actually put earlier on a mix of famous faces and peasants, which I thought was quite funny. But he's a normie. He's not got any sort of reality show background, so that's interesting. And then we also had Cody, who is apparently from Big Brother. I don't recognize him. I've only seen seasons 2, 3, and 24, and then I'm like a quarter of the way through 25. So that's why I like Suri. But yeah, interesting choices, I gotta say. I think it's gonna be a weird mix of traitors. I'm still waiting for the day when it's 2 like females, 1... Oh wait, that happened on UK season 1. Okay, actually, just ignore everything I just said. I was gonna say I'm waiting for the day when it's 2 females, 1 male, but that's literally quite happened in the very, very first series of the Traitors that was aired. Oh, sometimes I don't even think about what I'm saying. Okay, well, it's time to move on to a few suspicions. People are already accusing Geraldine. I don't even know who Geraldine is. Who is Geraldine? And Rachel from Big Brother knows that Cody is a traitor because they're like besties in real life. They hang out together all the time. So she's already clocked the fact that he is a traitor, which I find so funny. Why? Ah, that's so unfortunate. She hasn't said anything to anyone yet, which I also find very interesting because I guess it is just a baseless claim, but she seemed very, very certain because she was like, yeah, we hang out all the time. Like, our families are good friends. Like, yeah, it's chill, but he's a traitor. And I was like, oh, is that game over for him immediately? That's crazy. So, when it came to mission time, I noticed quite, like, early on, especially when they were doing, like, here's what's happening on this series, they're going to be reusing the same missions as UK Season 1. I've been rewatching UK Season 1 recently, and I think they had some good missions. They had definitely some good, like, ideas. The first one is very, very Survivor-esque, and I feel like they've tried to make this show kind of like Survivor meets Big Brother meets Mafia, which I think really, really works. The mission in this episode was the big demon goat things. I don't even know what the beasts, I guess. They kept calling it a beast and I was like, is it a beast? I don't know. But they had to find the rope, unlock the barrel with the oil, coat it in oil, get the flame from the middle of the lake, row it back, light it like the beast. That was the idea of the whole challenge. It was interesting to watch. Some people were not pulling their weight. Some people were not doing anything. Some people were really, really good. I know Reza was like really calling people out when they weren't doing very well or when they were just sort of slacking a little bit. So I did appreciate the fact that he was sort of on it and he was going for it. People were pissed that Kate wasn't helping out. So if you remember, Kate was from Below Deck. I feel like I'm going to have to keep on reminding you where these people are from because there's 20 people at the moment and they haven't done a good job of introducing us to anybody apart from the famous faces. I also wrote down it's not the same without Claudia screaming at them to hurry up. I think that's a very, very important part of the Traitors, having somebody screaming at them to hurry up. Whereas I feel like Alan was just kind of standing there going, oh, this is entertaining, this is fun, this is very, very good, very, very good. And then Brandy, who is from, I want to say Beverly Hills. I don't know who she is. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She took her time with the torch. She was just standing there, and then they were like, can you come and light this? And she was like, I don't run. So she was just walking over, and like the torches were just going out. So yeah, green team won, blue team lost. It was fairly cut and dry. There wasn't really, really much to talk about, but I'm fairly certain they won the $20,000 that was on offer. There's apparently $250,000 up for grabs, which is crazy because the UK version isn't even, like, I don't even know what $250,000 is in pounds, but in pounds, the UK one is only 120,000, so it's not really that good. Yeah. So we've got a few suspicions here. Reza was trying to bait the traitors out. He came in and he was like, oh, Alan needs the traitors to go outside and say and like do this, and then everyone started laughing and it was really, really funny. I do really like Reza. I think he's very entertaining, but he's also very outspoken. He was like, should the traitors, he was asking a question to the group, he was like, should the traitors take into consideration performance in the challenge? And I was like, ooh, that's a good question. Because I don't think we've ever had, like, people voting other people out. Or not voting other people out, but murdering them, like traitors murdering them because they're not good at challenges. It's always how does it better their game. So I think that's a very, very interesting question to pose. Is that being taken into consideration? Is it not being taken into consideration? Because that could change a lot of things for a lot of people. So just before we head on to the traitors' first meeting, do they actually stay in the castle? I feel like that's a question that I haven't had answered yet. I've always been under the impression that they don't stay in the castle in the UK version, but in the US version I was like, I'm watching them go up the stairs and now I'm actually deep in the fact that their bedrooms look like castle bedrooms. So is this like actually, do they actually all just stay in the castle? Because that would be quite cool. I think that'd be really, really cool. But I don't know. Is that a thing? I was under the impression that they were like staying in accommodation nearby, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, we're on to the first traitors meeting. Alan, fantastic host. He has the right intensity, the right sort of dramatics, and I really think I think it helps him being an actor because he's able to become this persona and really, really sort of like deliver it with great intensity and great commitment. Also, Cerie's puffer jacket, what an iconic look. I love it. I think it's the best. I think it's the best outfit I've seen someone wear on one of these Traitors programs. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. So Christian was shocked to see Cerie, and Cody didn't seem very happy to see Christian. I don't know why, but it just seemed like a really uncomfortable atmosphere between the two. But we do come on to who is the person they're going to murder. 3 names came up. Kate, Brandy, Reza. Those 3 are currently in a little bit of a trio. So it does make it incredibly difficult to sway them, I guess, because they are going to work together and they're going to think together. So I think it's smart to go for them immediately. Personally, if I was Cody, I would take out anybody that knew me personally in the game. And obviously, what's her face does, Rachel. So I would have taken her out because I'd have been like, she's going to be able to suss me out because she'll know when I'm lying. And that would have been the smart move. But I think going with this trio is very, very interesting. They are dangerous. Suri was very much sort of like, I'm going to go with the flow. I'm going to let them make the decisions. And then I'm just going to, oh, yeah, whatever you guys want. Unless someone's directly going for her, she's not going to make a move. She's going to let them make the moves for her because she wants to go undetectable in this game. Which, do you know what? It's smart. It's a smart move. And I think she's actually going to do quite well in this game. She's been on Survivor, 4 times? And I think this was before she did Big Brother as well. So she's got training in this. She might not have won any of those times, but she's got training. And she knows what she's doing. So, is what it is. Do you know what I mean? You gotta play the game the way you think you're going to win. And if this is how she thinks she's going to win, I'd go for it. The reasons why they were going to go for each person. Kate's very outspoken. Brandy isn't particularly easy to read. There was a moment where Brandy was like, oh, I think I know who the traitors are. And Suri was like, oh, go on then. And she was like, oh, well, it could be everyone. And Suri was like, okay. And then Reza was like, the reason they wanted to go for Reza was because he's very outspoken. He also thinks that it's going to confuse everyone. And also, he makes people second guess themselves in the sense of like, the way he came in, he was like, oh, the traitors need to go and see Alan. Or like, oh, should the traitors take this into account? He's making people actually think about who the traitors are based on who's given reactions around the room. So I think it's a very, very smart decision to get rid of him. Personally, I would get rid of one of the girls. Because I think Kate and Brandy, they have a connection and then they've brought Reza in. Whereas I think you could get rid of Kate or Brandy and then the bond between the other one and Reza wouldn't be quite strong necessarily. I don't know. It's difficult to say what's going to benefit them until it happens and it works for them or it doesn't work for them. But until then, that was the episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And I will see you guys in the next episode of whatever I decide to do. It's probably going to be this for the next couple of episodes. I think there's 10 episodes in this series, so that will take us up to about a week and a half, and then I might do something a little bit different and then come back for Celebrity Big Brother, which is going to be a daily thing. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure to subscribe. We're making our way to 600 by the end of Feb, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Keep on ranting. Bye now.